Well, hello you. Let's talk about quantifying your breath as a vocalist, shall we? So if you haven't watched my breathing video, open a new tab and do that. It's somewhere along here. Somewhere. So, you've established how to breathe. You're taking nice, low, full, open, silent breaths as a vocalist. You're getting good air. You're supporting it well. It's lovely. When we reach a certain level with that, we tend to think, okay, I don't have to work it as much anymore. But here's the thing. If you're not singing a whole lot and doing a lot of work and practicing as much as you once were, breath capacity, one of the first things to go. I learned this the hard way my first year of teaching. I was doing voice lessons, I was running choirs, I was singing, but I wasn't like hardcore singing like I had been. And then I had a voice student come in with a piece that I had done on my senior recital, the Youth in Love by Ray Vaughan Williams from the Songs of Travel. Gorgeous song cycle. And we're working, it's got some very long phrases in it, right? And we're working these things, and I was singing it, and I went, oh my Lord, I cannot make these phrases like I could even 2 years ago. I couldn't do it. So that breath capacity, one of the first things to go out the window. So when I started singing in choirs again, after I hadn't for, a year or two, it was like, okay, we gotta build ourselves back up here. And one thing that I had done as an instrumentalist for a long time was using a metronome with things like my scales. You have a certain idea of your skill set if you can play certain passages to a certain tempo, right? So I thought, how do I bring that into vocal exercises? And I'm sure that you've had a choral director or a voice teacher at some point do some variation of an exercise where it's like, okay, breathe in for 6 and out for 6, and in for 5 and out for 5. And in for 4, and out for, all the way down to in 1, out 1, ideally getting the same amount of air, right? Great exercise. Let's take it a couple steps up. Grab your handy dandy metronome. I'm old school, and this is an actual metronome, my tiny little Dr. Beat here. But you can get them on the telephone. And so what I do with all of my students, and with myself on occasion, is I set it at 60. Nice little clickety. And we work variations of, okay, go in for this many counts, go out for that many counts. And there's 4 different ways you can do the exhalation, the phonation thing. You can go out on a S, on an S. You can go out on a Z, so you have some pitch there. You can just go in and out with a, or you can go out on a pitch. I almost always go with an S when I start this exercise with students because that gives them some feedback in the form of the pressurization that they don't get when they're just going in and out, right? If you just go, going is different because there's more biofeedback, I guess. I'm just going to say that to sound fancy. Before we can start working these exercises, we're going to get a baseline going. So what you're going to do is you're going to set the metronome on 60. And you're going to inhale for 4, and then go out on that S for as long as you can, and count how many beats it ends up being. So let's see if I embarrass myself here. Okay, that's can you tell I haven't been working lately? Because 11 is not super great. I do that 3 times and sort of average it out to get the baseline. Because maybe that one was a fluke. Let's try it again. I could give myself 13. I'm going to go with 12. And you have to be careful. Some students will do it, they'll go with this wimpy little, like they're, to boost their number. Don't let them do it. Tell them to use the same amount of air that they would. You want to think that you're singing when you do this, because that's the amount of air that you want to be using. Once you've established your baseline, you change the goal a little bit. What you're going to do is now go in for 4, out for 4. And now the goal is to have the lungs empty by the time you get to 4. Now, when you switch here, I definitely recommend that you don't do something with pitch. That you should either do an S or just a plain in and out. Because if you do something with a pitch, either the Z or just an ah, in order to get all of the air out, they may end up pushing a little hard, and that can be, not great for here, right? It may be too much air going at once. So go with something that's not pitched. So once you've gone through a few cycles of in 4, out 4, change the out breath, right? I usually go up to 6 or 8, depending on the student. You don't want to jump to like 12 or something. Go up gradually and just play around with what is the difference now. How do you have to conserve the air in a different way? And once you get up to about 8, that's when you can start doing pitched things and have it be less strenuous here. It can be good to add arm movements too. I like to go out with the inhale. This way is good too. People do that way. I find this gives me shoulder tension, so I like the downward, and I find it also helps them with the low breath thinking, that water balloon thing I talked about in the other video, which you totally watched, right? Sometimes when I do this exercise, students ask, why are you having me count the inhale? Why can't I just breathe and go? The reason I do it is because regulating the rate that you breathe in is as much of a skill as regulating your exhale, right? I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I would be singing a piece in choir or solo or whatever, and I go, okay, all right, so I have 2 measures before I come in, so I'm going to breathe. I come in on the end of 4, so I'm going to breathe the entire measure before I come in. 3.5 beats. So you get to that measure and you go, oh no, and you've filled your lungs and you still have 2 beats to go, so then you have to go, and then, and you never get a good enough breath when you do that, because you've had to empty out real quick and then fill up again. Whereas if you know how to go, okay, I've got 4 beats, I gotta go, or whatever you have to sing. If you can regulate that inhalation, that will make you a more versatile singer. So once you've gone up and you're doing like in for 4, out for 8, in for 4, out for 10 or so, then you can start playing around with the inhale, right? Go in for 8 and then out for 4. Go in for 2 and then out for 4. And just notice what the difference is. Have the student really pay attention to, when I go in for a long time, how does that feel? How am I breathing? Where is it going? All that sort of stuff. All of these different combinations will just make you a very, very versatile singer. The other thing I love about this exercise is it does give you actual numbers to be like, okay, I can track this. All right, last week I was at 14, now I'm at 16, and then I took 2 weeks off, so now I'm back at 12. Oh, okay. So that's it for this quick little quantifying the breath video. I hope you like it. I hope you, literally, like it. Like it, subscribe to the channel. We've got more wonderful vocal technique videos a-coming, if I do say so myself. There's also a link in the description below to a blog post where I go a little bit more into detail about this process that I have with my students. And follow me on all the places at That KJ Bell or That KJ Teaches on TikTok, where I, have more little tips like this. Just quicker, shorter videos. If you want fast. You don't have an attention span anymore because social media. All right, that's it. Happy singing, y'all. Okay, this is the outro, because I'm pretty sure we got everything else. So, outro for quantifying. Did I... Okay, I don't have audio for that. It's gonna be from the camera. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.